Hello everyone, welcome to the channel of MeteoMark Weather. It's great to have you here today. We're going to be talking about two areas. First, the tropics. We're going to be watching a tropical wave that's going to be of concern across the central and the western Caribbean this week into the first part of December. We're going to take a look and see if this is going to develop into our next tropical storm. And approaching Thanksgiving, we could have a potential winter storm developing out of the Mississippi River Valley and heading up towards interior parts of the Northeast, where we could see some heavy wet snow accumulations. Let's get into it. And we'll be taking a look at snowfall. We could have a Thanksgiving snowstorm here. We're going to go over the snowfall amounts a little bit later on in just a couple moments in this video update. All right, so we're going to be looking at the GFS first, and I'll show you the European model. This is the area of concern that we're watching. As we continue to go out here in time, you can see it's going to produce some heavy showers and thunder showers for Jamaica up through the Cayman Islands, up through Haiti, Dominican Republic, and look at that, even the southeastern Bahamas near the Turks and Caicos. As we head and cruise on through Monday into Tuesday, you can see this area is very persistent from the central Caribbean here, from Jamaica, all the way up through Haiti, the eastern tip of Cuba, and the southeastern Bahamas. So let me just zoom out here. Essentially, this area is pretty well blocked because, we have, a retreating high up here. We have the trough up here across the north central Gulf of Mexico. So those are our steering currents right now. As we continue on into Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, you can see we have two distinct areas at this point. We have one area down here across the southwestern Caribbean and then another area moving up towards the northeast here towards Bermuda. So these are going to be two pieces of energy essentially splitting off here. And it's the southern part of this that really starts to initiate an area of low pressure as we get towards the 28th and 29th. So later this coming week, you can see a low pressure trying to form down here. We could potentially see a tropical storm form out of this. So as you can see, this thing starts to propagate towards the west-northwest here towards the 29th into the 30th. This would be providing lots of rainfall here from Jamaica, Cayman Islands, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, even down as far south as Panama here. And the GFS bringing this up towards a tropical storm by December 1st here, potentially a hurricane briefly before moving inland across Nicaragua. But you can see, unfortunately, this is going to spread some very heavy rain across Honduras and these areas further west across Central America, where you do not need the rainfall here. And that slowly moves towards the northwest here, towards the 3rd into the 4th, where we continue to see this may go up back out over the open water near Honduras and try to redevelop. But there is signs that we have a trough moving through. There's a frontal boundary. Could this be the trough that ends tropical season finally with no chances of tropical systems? Well, it does seem to wash out, and by the 7th and the 8th of December, we're still seeing, some heavy rains near Honduras and Belize here. But look at that. For the most part, after that, I don't see many tropical waves, if any, by December 10th. So looking at our European run here, we're going to start off and see how it compares to our GFS. Here it is. Big area of tropical rains. This is going to be big for Jamaica, Cayman Islands, Haiti, Dominican Republic, southeastern Bahamas near the Turks and Caicos, and then eventually towards, unfortunately, Nicaragua and Honduras in particular, and over as far west as Belize. Here we go as we head on into Monday. Look at this heavy rain centered right over Jamaica, eastern Cuba, southeastern Bahamas. And then as we head throughout the week, you can see that area of storminess just continuing to slowly chug towards the west with some energy moving up here across parts of the southeastern Bahamas as well. So yeah, there's going to be two distinct pieces of energy here. And look at this. As we head on into the 28th, into the 29th, you can see those heavy rains just continue here across the central and the western part of the Caribbean, particularly from Haiti, Dominican Republic, Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, and Honduras here. Here we go for rainfall totals here into the Caribbean. Look at this. Europeans going crazy with our rainfall totals here. Jamaica, up towards the Dominican Republic, Haiti, southeastern Bahamas near the Turks, Caicos. There's the Cayman Islands, Jamaica, down towards Nicaragua, Honduras, Belize. These areas could see 100 to as much as 150, close to 200 millimeters of rainfall here. This is going to get you up into the 4 to 8 inch range. And heading into the Eastern Caribbean here, yeah, that tropical wave there across the Central Caribbean up towards the Bahamas, that's going to be the big story. But we do have a tropical wave that's going to be approaching the southern Lesser Antilles down towards Trinidad and Tobago. This could get you up towards 60 to 90 millimeters of rainfall, about 1.5 inches, close to 3 inches. Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands, you'll see a lot less here, up towards about 25 to 45 millimeters, nothing more than 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch. And taking a look at mid-layer and basically mid and higher level dry and moist air here, thanks to Tropical Tidbits. You can see as we head throughout the week on our GFS model, that dry air is progressing south and eastward here. That's cutting off all that tropical moisture. But there it is, streaming northward across the Central Caribbean as we head on into Wednesday and Thursday. And that slowly pivots towards the northwest here, with the GFS indicating some sort of tropical system developing, potentially into tropical storm towards Nicaragua as we head on into Monday, December 2nd. So that's a trend we'll have to keep an eye on. It may cross over into the Eastern Pacific and try to develop, but you can see there is a frontal boundary here. So that's really cutting off tropical season. We'll see how far south and east this can actually make it, but there's going to be another push of tropical moisture that first full week of December. But look what's coming in from the east and the northwest, some dry air. And taking a look at our European run here, yeah, this is quite interesting as we get on into the rest of the week here. Surge of tropical moisture, even up towards this area of high pressure. So it's a weak high. So we got dry air on both sides of this. European model continuing to show lots of heavy rain shearing off to the north and to the east. No official closing off the low here with the European run, but we'll continue to watch it here because we could have some sort of a spin up as we go towards November 30th into December 1st. All right, so we're taking a look at our future radar here on our AM3 kilometer. You can see as we head throughout the rest of Sunday evening here, we do have some lake-enhanced showers, streamers coming off the eastern Great Lakes here. So we could have some areas northeast of Cleveland here into Erie. That's going to fizzle out as we head throughout 8 a.m. on Monday morning here, the 25th. You can see some showers pushing into the Ohio River Valley here. This is going to continue eastward. We got some snow breaking out here across the northern part of Wisconsin and Michigan. So that you can pick up some couple inches there. That's going to head to the east. You can see those showers spreading into the rest of New York and Pennsylvania as we head through 11 p.m. on Monday evening. So look at this. Yeah, heavier showers pushing down towards Pittsburgh, West Virginia, all the way southward towards the Gulf Coast. Now look what's happening out west here. You got this big system moving in from the Pacific. You're going to really ramp up the snow from western Colorado all the way to northern California here. And as we just continue to put this into motion, you can get a good idea of what's going on with this weather. Here it is, 6 a.m. on Tuesday morning, socked in with snow out west here. Look at here into the northeast, though. This is where you're going to see all this heavier precipitation moving in, mostly in the form of rainfall. Hudson River Valley down to the Poconos, Catskills, and southeastern Pennsylvania through 8 a.m. on Tuesday morning. And that spreads to the east. That's going to be some welcome rainfall. We do see a little bit of a lake response. It's not really that hefty, but we could see some of those streamers. And further inland here, in the higher elevations, we could see some heavy wet snow accumulations. So looking at our upper air pattern here, way upstairs at 500 millibars, we got that departing system here into the northeast with trough. And look at the west here. Pacific Northwest getting that tremendous system just continuing to move inland. Now, as we head throughout the week, you can see some impulses, weaker ones riding along the northern tier branch of the jet stream here. But look at this. This is the energy come Thanksgiving Day. Look at how this is diving across the lakes, Ohio Valley. It's going to be interesting to see how this comes together because this could be a big disruptive storm into parts of the Northeast, Ohio Valley, into New England, and even Southeast Canada here as we get into look at Friday and Saturday this week. Look at this. We get towards Monday, December 2nd, and that trough just reinforces here in the east. So stormy conditions, potential for another storm that first week of December. And look at this ridge. This is what you want to look for a massive trough back east. Look at this massive ridge out west here. This is going to promote big storminess across eastern North America. We could be looking at several storms as we head through mid-December here. And if we take a look at the European model here, there's our Monday into Tuesday system going right through Cleveland all the way down to the Gulf Coast here, spreading mostly rain with this system. as I showed you on the GFS. That's kicking out to the northeast as we head through Wednesday. And then there's our next system. The European is stronger than the GFS with this system. And on the north side of this, we're going to have to watch for snow. So let's continue to watch this. It's slower than the GFS too. Hence, it's bringing it a stronger low. And just to the north of this low pressure system, this is 1 p.m. on the 28th. This is Thanksgiving Day. Look how different it is compared to the GFS. We're seeing widespread, heavy, wet snow to the north here. So this is something we're going to have to keep a very close watch on. We could see several inches of heavy, wet snow accumulation, and then this kind of forms into like a nor'easter with continued snowfall, heavy snowfall the day after Thanksgiving on the backside of this low pressure system with a big lake response just behind it here. So this is something we're going to have to keep a very close watch on here. There it is. Those isobars are very close together. It's bombing up here at 986 millibars. And here we go for snowfall amounts here on our European model. There is that potential Thanksgiving storm here we're going to be looking very closely for. Yeah, we could be looking at some warning criteria snowfalls from northern Ohio all the way through upstate New York, northern Pennsylvania, into northern New England. And we're going to continue to propagate that through the first week of December. Look at that. We're adding more snowfall here from the Ohio Valley into northern New England. Now, the latest European model, I want to show you the 60. This just heads out a little bit through the end of this week into the beginning of the weekend. Has brought the axis of heavier snowfall a little bit further to the south and east here. Let's take a look at that. So here we go into the northeast. The first part of the week, no snow except for northern New England and Maine, where you'll see 2 to 4 inches. But look at this. Heading on into later Thanksgiving Day, into Friday. Look what we're piling on here. Northern Pennsylvania, upstate New York, into northern New England, even clipping northeastern Ohio here. We could be looking at amounts close to 5, 6, 7, maybe 8-inch plus in some locations. And just hot off the press here, let's take a look at the European, this latest run. Yeah, that's still pretty solid with northeastern Ohio, northern Pennsylvania, in upstate New York, and northern New England. Thanksgiving snowstorm looks to be setting up in this area. So watch out. We could be looking at several inches of heavy wet snow accumulation later Thanksgiving Day into Friday. Now let's pile the GFS on here. You can see the GFS has some lake effect snow heading on Sunday night and Monday in some of these areas, northwestern Pennsylvania. But the most important thing as we cruise on towards Thanksgiving, the GFS is looking a little warmer with lower amounts in some areas, but the snow belts, look at this, particularly right after Thanksgiving, as we head into the weekend after Thanksgiving here. Look at this. This is piling on from Cleveland, Erie to Buffalo, and then up towards the Tug Hill Plateau, Syracuse. Wow, this could be a big lake effect event if the GFS verifies. Liquid equivalent precipitation here across the lower 48. You can see, look at this. So we head through this week. We're going to see a couple systems. That first system we're going to see across the Ohio Valley, about 1/4 to 1/2 an inch on average, especially Monday, later Monday into Tuesday night. And then the next system, here's the Thanksgiving storm. This is where we're going to be watching really closely because we could see anywhere from 1 inch up to 2 inches in these red areas across the eastern Great Lakes, 2 to as much as 3 inches. So if any of this falls as snow, which is quite possible at this point, we could be looking at advisory to warning criteria snowfall. As we cruise on into the first part of December, you can see we do start to get maybe some East Coast action here. And before we continue with more weather coverage here, don't forget if you made it this far in the video and you like it, smash that like button, everyone. It really does help. Question or comment down below. I always love to read your questions or comments. And don't forget, if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe bell notification button so you're alerted with all my future weather video updates. Let's continue. So picking up where our feature radar left off, this is the storm system we're going to be watching as we head on into Monday and Tuesday. It's going to be dragging that front. There's those showers all the way down to the Gulf Coast, but you get the idea here. High pressure is retreating off the U.S. East Coast. There's actually snow up here in southern Ontario. That's going to continue to the east. So as we continue on into Tuesday, around 4 a.m., those showers are clearing parts of eastern Ohio here, and then moving up towards New York and Pennsylvania. So bringing some more beneficial rains to the east here and through the mid-Atlantic as well. It is going to be a fast mover. You can see we do have some snow and mixed precipitation up here in northern New England and northern Maine. That system moves out quick. We might get a quick lake response there off Lake Erie and Lake Ontario, but you can see our next system forming this is the one to watch here. So the GFS has been kind of bouncing around here with going warm, cold, warm, cold. So this is more of an open wave here on this run of the GFS, the latest run that we have here. It slides it to the east here with some snow on the northern side in the Poconos and Catskills come Thanksgiving here. So this is right around Thursday at 1 p.m. So if you have travel plans, watch out here. And then that slides off the coast with a big lake response behind it here. GFS really indicating these lake effect bands off of Lake Erie and Lake Ontario, as well as Lake Michigan over here. And further north, too, you're going to get some big lake effect snow bands setting up here right after Thanksgiving, Friday into Saturday. And then we have a clipper type system moving down through Missouri here, and that's going to move to the east. It's going to help lake enhancement snow here on into December 2nd. And then we try to spin up maybe a coastal here with an inverted trough. Look at this. This could be the focal point for some snow as we head on into December 2nd across Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York, and Michigan. That tries to form and spin up a low pressure off the coast. We keep that snow across northeast Ohio, northwestern Pennsylvania, and western New York into the 3rd and into the 4th. So we could be setting up for a very snowy first part of December here. Another clipper drop into the south here, very weak clipper, but you see mostly snow here towards December 6th here. We just scroll out here. Look at Texas. Yeah, we could see some rainfall here. The rest of the country is looking pretty quiet except for the upper Midwest here. And as we cruise on through December 7th here into December 8th, we're going out beyond 300 hours here just to get an idea of the pattern. You see this next system strong, but it's bringing some warm air up with it. It looks like mostly rain with that system, but yeah, it's going to be a very active northern stream, jet stream here. So let's take a look at our Canadian weather outlook here. You can see up here in Canada, we got that area of low pressure just winding up in southeast Canada, Canadian maritime areas. Now, we're going to see some snow breaking out across southern Ontario as we head on into Monday, into Tuesday. You could have upwards of, say, 10 to 15 centimeters of snow in some of these areas, so watch out as this pivots to the east, low pressure strengthening. That snowfall pivots towards eastern Quebec and towards the Canadian Maritimes with snow into northern New Brunswick and rain across Nova Scotia and southern New Brunswick as well. Now look at this. Low pressure kind of gets hung up across eastern Canada. You see through the middle to latter part of next week, we don't have any large-scale systems until we get to about the 30th. We have a big Pacific system ready to push in here. High pressure dominant across the central provinces here. And then look at southeastern Canada over here. We have a big area of low pressure blasting up through here. Heavy snow all the way through Nova Scotia and then eastern and southeastern Quebec here. And that winds up, look at that's a big, that looks like blizzard conditions up through portions of these areas into the Canadian Maritimes. Now look at over here into the western part of Canada. You're going to see a tremendous Pacific system as we head through the 1st and 2nd of December. Here's a little system moving through Hudson Bay, trailing a cold front. We do have some showers and some snow showers behind it as well, turning windy. High pressure dominating eastern Canada. And then we do see some light system here across southern Ontario and Quebec through the 6th and the 7th. And we'll just line these systems up, these Alberta Clipper type systems. This one's pretty vigorous at 988 millibars as we get towards December 7th into the 8th. That should provide southern Ontario and Quebec with some snowfall. And we'll take a look at precipitation amounts here. Into Canada, it's mainly southeast Canada that's going to be getting the lion's share until we get to the first week of December. Then the west coast here, British Columbia, really starts to get pummeled with, look at that, 150 to 250 millimeters there. Valley rain, mountain snow, that's going to be a lot, heading up towards 5 to as much as 8 inches. Now look at southeast Canada here. This is where you're going to get into, especially southeastern Quebec, New Brunswick here, Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island, Newfoundland. That's where you're going to see 80 to as much as 125 millimeters of liquid equivalent. That's going to bring you up towards 3.5, close to 5.5 inches. As we propagate the snowfall here, yeah, you're going to get some decent snows the next week here over Canada. Look at that. As we head through December, this takes us all the way through December 9th, actually. Look at, we're going to be building a massive snowpack. West Coast and East Coast here, southeastern Canada. Southeastern Canada, look at this. Over the next 2 weeks, we could actually see some amounts close, eclipsing beyond 30, 40, 50, 60 centimeters of snowfall here. So we're going to get into the feet of snow here. 1, maybe 1.5, close to 2 feet in some areas. And look at the west coast out here. Yeah, you're getting up beyond 70, 80 centimeters of snowfall here. So yeah, lots of snow. And even central areas, 20 to 25 centimeters, that's not too bad. Western Pacific here, yeah, there isn't a whole lot to talk about with our typhoon outlook. Most of this is tropical moisture and synoptic systems. Look it up towards South Korea here. We're getting a big cold front moving through. That's going to be approaching Japan as we head on into Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday. That pushes off to the east. The Philippines are going to start to receive a return flow of lots of tropical moisture here. So watch out as we head through the last part of November, especially into December here. And then, of course, at hour 144, we lose our precipitation loop on the Euro. That's been happening on this product for quite a while. But you can see there's no large-scale areas of tropical development here. That's some good news. Now, looking here across Southeast Asia and the Philippines, Japan. Yeah, we head through the next week. We have some synoptic systems up here into South Korea. You can see will amount to about 45 to 80 millimeters. Nothing more than, say, 3/4 of an inch to an inch and a half. On average here. Northern Philippines getting clipped here. You can see on the order of 100, 150 millimeters of rainfall. But look at that. Yeah, we're going to start to really bring the precipitation, heavy rainfall, tropical rains back here. And synoptic systems really deluging up here towards Japan and South Korea. Probably another 90 to 125 millimeters. So these areas could easily see 3, 4, 5 inches. Northern Philippines, though, that's where you're getting up dangerous, 250, 300 millimeters. That'll get you up towards, say, 6, 8, 9, maybe as much as 12 inches of rain. And before we continue with more weather, check out these awesome, amazing maps that you won't find anywhere else.
I am proud to announce that I am now an affiliate with Trilogy Maps. TrilogyMaps.com, bringing you the most digital, customizable maps found nowhere else on the internet. These maps are simply stunning. It's an advanced layering system that makes these maps great for making forecast maps with ease or any other maps that you would like to display important information on. The resolution on these maps is simply amazing. From the detail of everything here in the States, and you can also create stunning digital professional layered maps from also across the entire world. And don't forget, in checkout, the discount code option, use my code MeteoMark, hit apply, and you will get 20% off your order. So if you want the most professional, customizable, and affordable weather maps found nowhere else on the internet, look no further than TrilogyMaps.com. Link in the description down below along with your discount code.
And let's go through our temperatures here over the next several days. The cold air is bottled up over the northern plains. You can see 50s into much of the northeast, 60s into the Ohio Valley here. Look at this, crazy 70s and 80s down towards the Gulf Coast. As we head into Tuesday, November 26th, you can see that cold air pivoting, cooling down into the 40s here in northern Ohio, 50s holding on into the northeast and parts of New England here. So, yeah, one last gasp of warmer air before we really start to cool things down into the 30s and 40s here. Northern plains, mid to upper teens into Thursday. Yeah, you do see a surge of warm air quickly ahead of this potential Thanksgiving storm, but temperatures will be crashing throughout the day. Look what's behind it, this polar air mass. It does start to blast east, and that cold air may meet up with this precipitation, bringing some snowfall to the interior northeast. So that's something we'll have to keep watch for. And on into next Saturday, it's looking wintry. Look at this area of 30s and even some 20s, teens, and single digits here in the northern Midwest. Extended forecast from our hometown viewers, Binghamton to Scranton, Upper Susquehanna, River Valley of New York, and Pennsylvania. You know, the first part of the week's pretty clear. Monday into Tuesday, we will see some showers likely, so maybe 1/4 to 1/2 inch. Into Tuesday night, a few lingering showers. Wednesday is another nice day, sunny, mid-40s, very seasonable. But here's where things get interesting. Thanksgiving Day, I think will start as rain, and we'll transition to snow, especially towards sunset. And we will probably see at least a couple inches to possibly several inches overnight Thursday night into Friday morning. So stay tuned. We could be looking at a potential Thanksgiving winter storm. As always, thank you for joining me for this edition of MeteoMark's Weather. Also, don't forget to join me on Facebook at MeteoMark, also Weather Northeastern, also Twitter at Weather Eastern. Don't forget it's MeteoMark.com, and don't forget, if you want to send me a coffee, there is a link, Super Thanks. You can smash that Super Thanks button or my PayPal link in the description down below. You can buy me a cup of coffee. Thanks everyone. Share that video. Subscribe if you haven't. Smash that like button.